so welcome to another vlog, and we are going to be reading new May fantasy releases in this vlog because if you guys saw my TBR video for May, and I talked about all the damn new releases that were coming out in May, May is like the month for books, okay? Like, literally, I think I've read maybe... How many May releases have I read so far? I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I just finished like a shorter audiobook, but I've read 6 so far. So we're probably going to be reading, I think, like 4 to 5 in this video. We have one, potentially a 5th one, but if we run out of time to read it, I'm gonna end the month with a summer romance that I've been waiting to come out, for it to come out next week. So anyway, let's talk about what's on the TBR for this video. So we have some romantasy and we have some fantasy releases. So the first one actually came out yesterday, and I'm currently reading this one right now, and that is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This is a very highly anticipated release for a lot of people. I just picked up the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition today, so it has like the beautiful sprayed edges. I did mark where I am, but I am just listening to the audiobook right now, so I'll just mark where I got to in a minute. But those are the sprayed edges. They're just so pretty. But y'all, this book is heavy as hell. It's so heavy. I'm like, I did buy it with a store credit though, because I returned Water Moon and I ended up getting this book because I knew I was going to pick up this book at some point. But it is really pretty. And I love like the cover and everything. So we have that. This is a gothic romantasy, I believe. Then we have His Face is the Sun by Michelle Jabez Corpora. And this is on my TBR for the month of May. This is just such a beautiful sprayed edges book. I just love it. And it has like a map on the inside. I don't think there's anything on the hardcover though. No, but I wish there was. But it's just so pretty. It like doesn't even matter. This is like a epic fantasy Egyptian magic fantasy, and I'm just so excited for this one. So I'm probably going to go into this one right after the next book that I'm going to talk about. Then we have probably the book of the moment right now. Everyone is reading this book, and I'm going to go into this book right after I finish Night of the Moth. I was just waiting for my Libby loan to come through again, and that is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. Literally everybody and their moms are reading this book right now. This one is a high fantasy dystopian, and it's a adult dystopian fantasy. So very excited for this one. I do have the audiobook and the Libby loan, so I'm going to be reading this on my Kindle. But with this one, I just really wanted to pick up the special edition because I thought it was so pretty. And I actually haven't picked up a book in a hot second, so not for a couple of weeks. And then the next one, which this is probably the other big fantasy book right now that came out earlier this month. Because Silver Elite, I believe, came out like May 5th or something. And this one is called Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. And I think that she is a romance author. I've actually never read any of her books before, but a lot of people are reading this book right now. And this one came out May 6th. I think Silver Elite and Shield of Sparrows possibly came out on the same day. I'll double check that in a minute, but this one is available on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll just be reading that on my Kindle as well. I've been reading so many Libby loans this month and so many books on my Kindle. It's not even funny, so I kind of miss reading physical books, so at least we have 2 physical books in this video. And then the last one, Silver Elite, came out the same day. That's crazy because those books are huge right now. If we have time to read this one, which I probably will end up reading this after I finish Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood, we might just end the month with this one. It is called A Fate Forged in Fire by Hazel McBride. And I believe this one is a romantasy as well. And I believe it's a dragon fantasy, which y'all know I love dragons. I actually haven't read a dragon fantasy in a hot second. This one comes out the same day as Problematic Summer Romance, which is May 27th. So, TBR is stacked. We're excited. We're ready. I'm going to put this one at least back because having both of these on my lap right now is just so heavy. But I haven't really seen that many people talk about this one, but I've been seeing really good reviews about this, so I'm super excited to get to this one. So I think this one is going to be my weekend read. I do have the audiobook from Libby as well, so this is a bit of a chonker, but I do really want to read Silver Elite first before this, so, but very excited to get to that one as well. I'll talk about more what they're about, like, when we start reading it. So this one is the one that I'm reading right now because, like I said, this one just came out yesterday. So I thought it would be better to start off the vlog with one that literally just came out. And this one, I think I am a little bit over 30% of the way through right now. I'm on chapter 11. So let me just... And these pages are kind of annoying me a little bit. They kind of stick together, but the quality of the pages are really nice. Just like, you know, sometimes, I mean, it's a really substantial book. Yeah, I'm on chapter 11. So I'm on page 130. So that's pretty far. So I'm not going to hold this up for that long because it's a really heavy ass book. So the main character's name is Sybil. I'm just going to read the synopsis because honestly, I'm kind of struggling to pay attention to this one. I find myself like not really being that interested in this story. I don't know, I'm a little bit not bored, but I just feel like I'm not that interested in what's happening because I feel like, I don't know, like it's just taking me a little bit to get into this story, but I'm also like over 30% of the way through already. I feel like I should be in it already because that's what determines like what a good fantasy book is to me. Like I have to be in it from the start. I feel like I'm going to feel like that with Silver Elite and maybe Shield of Sparrows or even His Face is the Sun, but I don't know. She's literally the only author in this video that I've read from before. All the other authors that I'm going to be reading from in this video are all brand new authors to me because I did read her One Dark Window duology, her Shepherd King duology, One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, and I really, really enjoyed that duology. It was very easy to follow. So anyway, this one says, Sybil Delling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Like the other foundling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in the great cathedral, Sybil is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as the Omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk alike travel across the Stonewater Kingdom's windswept moors and craggy mountains to learn their futures by her dreams. Just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at the cathedral. Rude, heretical, and devilishly handsome, the knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's visions. But when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them. For the world outside the cathedral's cloister is wrought with peril. Only the gods have the answers she is seeking, and as much as she'd rather avoid Roderick's dark eyes and sharp tongue, only a heretic can defeat a god. A heretic. So far, basically, she is, you know, kind of a rarity right now because a lot of the diviners, oh, that's cool how it reflects. A lot of the diviners are missing. They kind of just like disappeared out of thin air. And she is basically... She has met the king, but she's also assisting this knight to go on this quest of finding these coins that she needs to get with the knight. But honestly, I don't really know what the coins are for. Maybe it's to like see her dreams a little bit more clearly or like to control her dreams. I really have no idea. That's basically what we're up to right now. And that's pretty much all that's happened. Like she's been seeing things that aren't there. But I don't know, I'm just finding myself not really caring that much. Maybe I'll get more into it soon, but I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like I'm kind of like zoning out or just losing interest a little bit because I've just been listening to the audiobook on Libby. Like I didn't have a chance to read this because I picked this up when I was going to my friend's house. So I literally just went to Barnes and grabbed it and then I just went right to his house. Because I finished My Friends by Frederick Bachman earlier today. That book was amazing, incredible, 5 stars. I loved it so much. But then I really was craving some good fantasy, and so far I like the magic in this. But I don't know if I can really explain the magic system that well to you. There's also the omens, which basically, I guess she receives her powers from the omens. And they give the diviners their power. I guess that's what's up. So yeah, I will check in with you guys when I'm probably like 60 or 70% of the way through and tell you guys if my thoughts have changed at all. But so far, I don't know. Like there are some funny parts, but I'm not really like obsessed with this as I thought I was going to be because I keep on seeing like 5-star reviews about it, and so far I'm like, I don't know. It's okay. It's not amazing, but you know, it's still enjoyable. I still think I like it so far. But I'm not like completely obsessed with it. So yeah, I will check in with you guys. I have a feeling I'm really gonna like His Face is the Sun because that is a really high rating on Goodreads. And also Shield of Sparrows was actually not on my TBR this month. It was supposed to be Firefly Lane, but honestly, I kind of want to read as many new releases at the end of this month in May as possible because like I said, there's so many good ones that came out, and these were all still on my TBR except for Shield of Sparrows. Like His Face is the Sun, The Night and the Moth, Silver Elite, of course, and A Fate Forged in Fire were all on my TBR this month. I wasn't sure if I was going to get to A Fate Forged in Fire. I might not, because I think I'm going to read Shield of Sparrows over his Fate Forged in Fire, and then like I said, I might read Problematic Summer Romance, and then maybe I'll just read A Fate Forged in Fire right after that. I don't know how I'm going to get A Fate Forged in Fire. I probably could just borrow it from Libby too, because I actually didn't even check that. A Fate Forged in Fire. Oh, right. Duh. It's not even available yet. I was like, but I'll just put a notification for the library. Like literally, I've just been reading so many library loans. It's literally not even funny. It's crazy. But I actually am very excited for this one, as I'm kind of craving some Dragon Fantasy because I haven't read Dragon Fantasy in a hot second. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will check in with you guys when I have another update. So about Night and the Moth. Hopefully I'll be feeling it a little bit more when I get further into it. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey guys. So I wanted to make another check-in about The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Let me turn the brightness up so you guys can actually see me. So I'm about 75% of the way through, according to the audiobook. Where the hell is my phone? I just literally had my phone. It's right here. Of course, it got buried under the covers already. I think I'm like 75, 76, 77% in. So did I just start? No, I finished that chapter actually, because I literally just read the 4 pages that I needed to finish the chapter. So it says I'm 78% of the way through, so I'll definitely finish this tomorrow. I'm on page 304, and I'm kind of feeling the same way as I did before about this. I'm not really loving it. I'm kind of just not really loving the characters. I like the fantasy, but I'm definitely liking this more than This Woven Kingdom. Let's not get it twisted. But like, I couldn't really connect with their romance all that much. I didn't really feel much yearning and pining and tension towards the two main characters that much. And also, I feel like we concentrated way too long on her making the journey to find the coins, and then we kill the omen, and then she becomes, you know, a knight, and that's pretty much what happens in this. But like, I just found myself not really caring that much. But this book has its moments. It's not like totally a drag and a slog like This Woman Kingdom. But I feel like I get excited for something in this, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be interesting to find out what happens, or there's gonna be some build up. And then I feel like I'm a little bit let down. Like, that was kind of how I felt with This Woman Kingdom. But I do enjoy Rachel Gillig's writing. I don't know. I feel like it's very, like, we did this, and then we did this, and then we did this. And that's how I feel that this is, like, written. So I'm not really obsessed. But again, the cover and the sprayed edges are absolutely freaking stunning. But I'm just not really loving it. Like, not really much else has happened. Or it's just like, I feel like it's a little bit too predictable for me to be really invested in it. Like, if this was something that I literally couldn't put down, I would finish this tonight. Because now I only have like, I think like 80 pages left. But I don't want to. Like, because I read like almost 100 pages of it physically today. So I read like 40 pages earlier, and I read like 50 pages during the day today. So I did actually read the physical book, but this thing is so damn heavy. I can't hold it anymore. It's so friggin' heavy. So I don't know, but I do want to tell you guys, I'm still going to finish it. Again, I only have like 20% left, so it's not like it's a big deal for me to finish it. But I don't love it. But I like it enough for me to finish it. But I did also start on my Kindle last night. And then I read a little bit more of it at the nail salon today because I finally got my nails done, and I always bring my Kindle to read when I get my nails done. I read a little bit more. I started Silver Elite last night, and I read a little bit more of it today by Danny Francis. I'm totally hooked already. I'm obsessed already. I am so intrigued about what's going to happen. Like, this is the book of the moment right now, y'all. Some people said, when I was watching Belle Therese's video, though, she was saying that a lot of people were saying that it wasn't that good. But a lot of people are also rating it 5 stars on Goodreads. I also saw a lot of 5-star reviews about this book, so I was really excited for it. But honestly, I really, really liked the Shepherd King duology. It wasn't like a 5-star duology for me, but like each book was like 4.5. I really liked One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. So I was excited for this one, but I found myself really liking the characters in One Dark Window as opposed to the characters in this. Like, I don't really care that much. So I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. It's just, I'm not really in love with the writing of this one either. Like, it's still good, but I'm not in love with it. So, but I still really enjoy her storytelling. So anyway, hooked on this book already. Cannot wait to read more. So I'm just going to continue reading it on my Kindle. Let me just read a bit of the synopsis before I go on, and like give you another check-in when I get further into the book tomorrow, because I cannot wait to pick this book up again. I'm so intrigued because it started off with such a bang. That's why I think I might be more of a dystopian girly this year, as opposed to just romantasy and fantasy, because like I've read so many YA dystopian this year, like Shatter Me and The Hunger Games, and I loved both of those series. And you know, Shatter Me's also by Tara Maffei, which she wrote This Woman Kingdom, and literally This Woman Kingdom's like my least favorite YA romantasy series that I've read, but I loved Shatter Me. So anyway, this one says, why'd the brightness go down so much? Psychic gifts are a death sentence, and there are rules to survival. Trust no one. Lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. Trust no one. Ren Darlington has spent her whole life in hiding, honing her psychic abilities and aiding the rebel uprising in small ways. On the continent, being modified means certain death, and Ren is one of the most powerful mods in existence. When one careless mistake places her in the hands of the enemy, and she's forced to join their most elite training program, she's finally handed the perfect opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside their ranks. Lie to everyone, but training for Silver Block can be deadly, especially when you're harboring dangerous secrets and living in close quarters with everyone who wants you dead. And whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. As the stakes grow ever higher, Ren must prove herself to Silver Block. But that's easier and said than done when your commanding officer is the ruthless and infuriatingly irresistible Cross Redden, who doesn't miss anything when it comes to her. As war rages between mods like her and those who aim to destroy them, Ren must decide just how far she's willing to go to protect herself and how much of the continent is worth saving. So with this, literally, I was hooked from like the first sentence. And literally the banter between the two main characters started in the first chapter. And I was laughing already. Like, with the dialogue, with the way it's written. It's so fast-paced. I'm only on chapter 2 right now. I'm like halfway through chapter 2. I literally only was able to finish chapter 1. I'm only like 20 pages in. Why is it not updating on my phone where I'm at? I think I'm on page like 20 or something. So, and I'm loving it so far. I'm only like 7% in. So, I will check in when I'm like halfway through, but right now I already get the feeling that this book is probably going to be a 5-star unless something pisses me off in it, but even that I understand why this book is so hyped. So, I'm super excited. I think after I had to go into Silver Elite next. Like that book has been on the top of my TBR for this month. I just had to finish, my book club pick first, which Direbound was also a really good big romantasy, but that came out a couple of months ago. I'm reading all the new May romantasy fantasy releases this month. So, in this vlog, but so far, I think I'm going to be fucking obsessed with this book. I'm so excited. So yeah, I will check in when I read more. So bye. And I will check in when I finish Night of the Moth as well. Okay, so hey there guys. So I wanted to give you guys my official review of The Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig. As I was saying before, my thoughts didn't really change on this throughout the last 25% that I had to finish. I literally just finished it this afternoon. I listened to like 2 chapters this morning, and then I actually finished the rest of the book physically. I only had like 55 pages left, so. And it was okay. Honestly, like I said, I really struggled to care about the characters in this book, and I found the plot to be very predictable. I didn't really think it was anything new. So I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, like, which is actually pretty unfortunate, because again, the book is actually freaking stunning. I'm not gonna hold it up anymore though, because this thing is a freaking chonker on how heavy it is. But I just, throughout the whole thing, I was zoning out a lot, like I said, with the audiobook, and I don't know, it felt like their romance was a bit awkward, and I honestly feel like this book probably would have just been better off being a regular gothic fantasy and not a romantasy, because again, like, I couldn't really connect to their romance in any way. I felt like even the twist at the end, it was pretty predictable. Like, there wasn't really enough build up for me to be like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what happens next. Like, with Silver Elite, I feel that way already. Like, I'm already hooked. I'm captivated by page 40. Like, I was literally hooked from page 1. So, I'm like 40 pages into it now, and I literally cannot wait to listen to more. But I finished Night of the Moth really, really fast. But honestly, I'm really, really debating about exchanging Night in the Moth for a physical copy of Silver Elite, because that's how much I'm loving Silver Elite right now. So I'm gonna listen to a little bit more of Silver Elite now anyway, and then if I get a little bit, I probably will get up to page like 100 by the time I get to Barnes and Noble later today, to determine whether or not I want to exchange it. But I think I'm going to. But I also want to see if Silver Elite is available at Target, because I might just buy it there and then I might just return Night in the Moth. But I think that Night in the Moth is going to go back on another store credit then. I have to find where my receipt is for it, but it does look really, really pretty on my shelf because, again, it's a beautiful book, but it's so heavy. And it's not like I'm ever going to have the desire to read it again. Like, all the books that have the beautiful covers and sprayed edges that are on that top shelf are like a 4-star and above. Like, those are books that I still really, really like and love. With this book, this is like the lowest rated book on the top shelf. So, but then I would rather display Silver Elite with like the silver edges. So I think I'm convincing myself further and further just to get Silver Elite and return Night in the Moth, which is a shame because like I said, I really enjoyed the Shepherd King duology, so I thought I was really going to like this as well because I do enjoy her writing. This is now the 3rd book I've read from her, so it's not like I'm not familiar with the way that she writes, but I don't know. I cared a lot more about the characters and the romance in the Shepherd King duology. There wasn't really that much, there weren't that many characters to follow in this book, and I kind of liked that, but also I feel like, again, there was only Rory and the King and the main character, Sybil, and the Gargoyle. Those were basically the 4 main characters throughout the whole book. And again, like, I kind of figured out what happened at that point, that I feel like maybe because it was so predictable for me that prevented me from enjoying it more. But again, I just didn't really connect to the romance whatsoever. Like, I really just didn't care. So that's my review. I don't really feel the need to talk about it more because I'm really not caring that much. So just gonna continue Silver Elite. Okay, so hey guys, so we finally made some progress in Silver Elite by Danny Francis. And you guys, I love this book so much that I went and bought the physical copy. I am obsessed with this book. I don't know what it is. This book is like crack. I'm loving this book. Like, so I'm on page 200. So I'm 40% of the way through, or almost 40%. Literally, I've only read 30 pages in the physical copy. I've mostly been reading it on my Kindle from my Libby loan of it, but I wanted to get a physical copy so badly because I ended up returning The Night in the Moth and exchanging it to buy this one because, like I said before, I wasn't really liking The Night in the Moth. So I was thinking about this book literally all day today and yesterday because I'm like, just The Night in the Moth, like, I just really was not really feeling like picking it up, like, and reading it. But I finished it for this video. But this book, I'm obsessed. And I read quite a bit of it just now on my Kindle. I read a little bit this morning, but honestly not that much on my Kindle before. I think I just read another, actually I read quite a bit. I think I read like 50 pages. Yeah, I read like 50 pages on here. Because then I was up to like 150. I read like 30 pages and then I listened to like 2 chapters and then I read another 50 pages on here. So I think I read another 80 pages of it physically and then I listened to quite a few chapters of it today. So I'm just obsessed. I need it in every single format apparently. So I don't care what people are saying about it. This book is just like, is so fun. I'm just having the best time. I don't care if like this is too Divergent or too Hunger Games coded. I think it's different enough for me. Even though, like, I'm glad I finally read The Hunger Games. But honestly, I don't feel like I'm comparing every single book to The Hunger Games. But I see the influence that The Hunger Games had on the books that I'm reading. and how much the Hunger Games changed the fantasy genre. I'm honestly getting more Shatter Me vibes from this book. And I loved Shatter Me. So, and I also never read Divergent either. And people are saying that this book is very Divergent coded as well. But I don't know. I just love it. I think it's hilarious. I think that the action is really, really good in this. And I feel like every chapter is leaving off on a cliffhanger that makes me want to read more and more and more, just like the Hunger Games. So, yeah, I'm really loving it. So I'll read the synopsis really quick. So it says, trust no one. Wren Darlington has spent her whole life in hiding, honing her psychic abilities and aiding the rebel uprising in small ways. On the continent, being modified means certain death, and Wren is one of the most powerful mods in existence. When one careless mistake places her in the hands of the enemy, and she's forced to join Silverblock, their most elite training program, she's finally handed the perfect opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside their ranks. Lie to everyone. But training for Silverblock can be deadly, especially when you're harboring dangerous secrets and living in close quarters with everyone who wants you dead. And whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. As the stakes grow ever higher, Wren must prove herself, but that's easier said than done when your commanding officers, the ruthless and infuriatingly, I can never say that word, infuriatingly irresistible Cross Redden, who doesn't miss anything when it comes to her. And as war rages between mods like her and those who aim to destroy them, Wren must decide just how far she's willing to go to protect herself and how much of the continent is worth saving. Sorry, I can't really see it that well in the dark. But basically she's in like the training right now, and she's trying to figure out who she can trust. Oh my god, there's a bug on the floor. Hold the phone. I see it crawling. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry about that. I think that was my friend that I saw like a couple days ago that like crawled into like the crack of one of my bathroom like gaps. There's like a gap between my door and the carpet. Oh, sorry. My friend messaged me. But anyway, so she's basically in the training right now, and she's kind of like messing up on purpose, and most of the people that are in the training don't really like her because she is a prime, meaning that she has greater psychic abilities than all the rest of them, and they probably think that she's like gonna read their minds and stuff. So she's very powerful, and I don't think that it's that similar to Hunger Games because Hunger Games doesn't have special abilities, The Hunger Games was so famous because of the trials, and, the Hunger Games were all humans, There was no special powers. There was no special abilities. There was, like, modifications and, like, science to, like, enhance people, but, like, to, well, not really enhance them, but they were trying to scientifically modify people, like mutate them and like combine them with like animals that they would experiment on people, It didn't mean that this was benefiting humans. This was actually making humans be treated like they were objects rather than humans, and like not enhancing them for their own good, but for the capital's good to experiment on them, So with this, they all have powers, and they do acknowledge that there is propaganda going on in this world, in this dystopian society. So I kind of like that she makes it very obvious that, she knows that there's propaganda going on. She also like kind of accepts that she can't, get out of her situation right now, because she's like, hey, you know, my but she is trying to, you know, get out, you know, use every type of strategy to try and get out. But I like the way that this female main character is written. She's not stupid. Thank God she's not stupid. But also I thought that the female main character in Night in the Moth was not stupid either. I just didn't really like how predictable the plot was. Like, this might be a little bit predictable, but it keeps me on the edge of my seat that I keep on wanting to know what happens. And there's some really funny moments in this. I've been laughing out loud so much. Like, the banter is really, really funny. I'm already loving all of the characters. I don't know. I just feel like this is moving very fast paced, and just, I'm obsessed. Like, you can't really explain like why somebody loves a book over another book. It's just, you know, there's something that clicks in your brain, that the serotonin starts pumping, and it's just like, and the endorphins start flowing, and that's it. So I love it. So I'm about 40% of the way through. I will check in when I'm more towards the end, but I feel like this vlog is going to be going on forever. I'm kind of torn as to what I want to go into next, though. Like, I knew I wanted to read Silver Elite right after Night in the Moth, but after this, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of so obsessed with this book that I really don't care. But I feel like I should go into Shield of Sparrows because it's the most hyped book besides Silver Elite, and everybody keeps on comparing the two. That I feel like I want to know what my opinion's going to be. But then that means I'm drifting a little bit from my monthly TBR. But then that also means that I could just carry over one of the books that I was supposed to read this month into next month and just read Shield of Sparrows and His Face is the Sun, and then end the month with Problematic Summer Romance, because I kind of want to see what I think of Shield of Sparrows. And I'm kind of on a high fantasy kick right now. That's all I'm really in the mood for. That I'm thinking about possibly just reading Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry after this. I think I'm gonna need an audiobook to listen to anyway, and depending on whether or not I'm liking the story, then I will just continue with reading with that one, because it's on Kindle Unlimited too, so I'll just read that on my Kindle if I decide to continue it. But I could just start listening to the audiobook anyway, because it would either be His Face is the Sun or Shield of Sparrows, and I think I'm going to go with Shield of Sparrows. So, even though I really want to know what I think of His Face is the Sun too, but I feel like since I'm on a romantasy, fantasy, dystopian kick right now, I feel like I want to keep that going. I'm not really in the mood for historical fiction, but I really want to read Firefly Lane. I keep on putting it off. But I could just read it the first week of June if I get more of these romantasy reads done. I will let you know when I'm more towards the end of Silver Elite. All right, bye. So hey there, guys. So I wanted to give you guys an update on where I'm at in Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I am now 77% of the way through. And I think I'm going to finish this book tonight because I'm literally like devouring this. Devouring it. So I am on page 395. I actually got to read quite a bit more physically today. I think I read 50-ish pages instead of 30 pages. So I will probably end up reading like over 100 pages physically. And then I switched to my Kindle because this book is just a chonker, and it's hard to read when I'm like resting it on my stomach when I'm laying down on my bed. But when I'm like, you know, in the bathroom, I can just put it on my lap. I don't know if that's TMI, but you know, I'm sure a lot of us get our reading done in the bathroom, okay? But that's like really the only way I can read it physically because again, it's a chonker. So loving it still. There's a lot of jaw-dropping moments lately in the past few chapters of like sudden deaths that are just keeping my jaw on the floor. And so basically I only have like 23% left. So I think I'm going to be able to finish that tonight because I'm going to continue listening to the audiobook, going to see my friend and going home. And I'm just absolutely obsessed with this. My thoughts have not changed. There's just It's really well paced. There's like no lulls. It's just keeping me on the edge of my seat the whole time. And that's basically all I have to say. I feel like if I say any more, it's going to kind of spoil too much, but this is going to be a 5-star. Like, I have not been obsessed with this, with a fantasy book, I mean, since like Onyx Storm. Like, it's been a long time since I was obsessed with a hyped up fantasy book. So I am loving this, and like I said, reading does not have to be super educational. Reading can just be fun. It can be entertaining. If there's a book that's sucking me in from the beginning and starts out with a bang, I know I'm going to love it. All right? And just I really am enjoying the writing, the banter, the hot steamy scenes are really hot. There was like this one scene with her next to her captain. You pretty much know they're going to develop a romance anyway. Like, they didn't stay enemies for long, and I don't know, it's hot, okay? And there's like this one scene where she is getting into the shower next to him, and then when they get out and he like talks to her later, he's like, you just want to shower with me all the time. And he's like, I didn't shower with you, I showered next to you. It's just really funny, and it's just like moments like that I'm like having the best time. So right now, basically, she's still trying to join the elites. That's basically her goal, is to join the Silver Elite. That's why it's called Silver Elite. I do like the way that Danny Francis interweaves, I'm not sure which word is right. You know, it's so funny, like, when we read so much, then meanwhile, we still don't know half the words that we say. Like, when I watch other YouTubers, it's like, I don't know if that's the right word. And it's like, we read a lot. We should know what word is correct. But anyway, the way that she interweaves silver throughout the whole book, like, she keeps it a theme, but it's not, like, annoying. You know, like, he had a silver glow to his hair, or, like, the sun was like illuminating his face like silver. Like, I really like that. And also the trials, and well, not really trials, but the training has gotten like harder and harder. Like, there was a training session that took place over the course of 2 weeks because she was actually being interrogated, and they have to like prepare them for like if they would ever get captured from, like, you know, someone that needs information from the Silver Elite, you know, from their enemies, because this takes place after a great war. Usually that's what most dystopian books take place, or when they take place. Like, the Hunger Games takes place after a huge war, and that's why they hold the Hunger Games. And the same thing with Shatter Me. But again, I'm really feeling like similarities to Shatter Me. There was one scene in this where it was very similar to the Hunger Games. I'm like, that's a little bit too similar, but I still enjoyed it, all right? I still ate it up, all right? So that's all I'm going to say for now. But, like, basically they were, like, starving her and, like, waterboarding her and punching her and hitting her, and it was a lot, but I don't know. It's just, I'm eating it up. And I cannot wait to see what happens next. Especially what happens with Cross. I really enjoy, like, male main characters that are, like, super complex in these fantasy books, like in Direbound and Silver Elite. They're probably my 2 favorite main male characters that I've read in fantasy books this month. So, yeah, I will check in when I'm done. And I did make the decision that I am going to go into Shield of Sparrows after Silver Elite, because I feel like I need to see if that book is worth the hype as well. So I am straying a little bit from my TBR, but I actually didn't even talk about this book in my May TBR new releases, or maybe I did. I can't remember, but I didn't say I was going to read it. But since that book blew up just as much as Silver Elite, I want to see if I like it just as much, or I might... Honestly, I don't know if it's going to beat Silver Elite, because I feel like this book is just pure entertainment, pure fun, just having the best time. And that's when I know something doesn't always have to be like a super impactful like Frederick Bachman book in order to be a 5-star, even though I've given every single one of his books 5 stars. This is just exactly what I needed right now because I really wanted to go into a fun fantasy book, and I knew this is exactly what it was going to be as soon as I started reading it. So, yeah, I will talk to you guys when I finish, but I think you already know it's going to be a 5-star anyway. I've been saying it the whole time. I've just been mentally thriving with this book. There's some things that have happened the past couple days that I have to take care of, like after Memorial Day weekend. Like, I have a problem with my rental car now. It's just really, really fucking annoying, honestly. But at least these are things that I can somewhat get under control. But yeah, I think I'm definitely doing Shield of Sparrows after this because I have the audiobook and I have it on Kindle Unlimited. And then I think I'm going to go into His Face is the Sun after Shield of Sparrows because I actually borrowed it from the library and the hold should be available soon. So actually it works out if I go into Shield of Sparrows next because then as soon as His Face is the Sun becomes available, I'm going to read that right after. And I also have the audiobook for that too from the library. I literally just use the library app all the time. Like, at least I'm reading Silver Elite some physically, but again, it's a little bit heavy. And I decided I'm going to return my physical copy of His Face is the Sun because I don't need to keep it if it's like a chunker. And honestly, like, I probably should go into it Wednesday into Thursday because I'm going to need a Kindle read or like something on my Kindle when I have to work on Thursday and Friday. So that's it. We're going to go. Bye. Hey guys. So I obviously finished Silver Elite. I finished it. I completely devoured this book, and I already told you about 5 times that I knew this book was going to be a 5-star, and it did not disappoint, and it was a 5-star. I have not been this obsessed with a fantasy book since Onyx Storm. And now I feel like I'm contemplating my life choices. After I finished this book was just, I don't know. I just loved it. From the very first page to the very end, this book had me in a chokehold. And I feel like how I did after Onyx Storm, where I'm like kind of mourning the loss of not being in this world anymore. And the only thing that I would want to read is the second book in this series because I loved it. Like the end, the twists at the end. There were so many twists at the end. And I was like, wait, I almost thought like my brain was on overload. And then I was like, what? Like maybe a little predictable at the end, but I loved it. And I feel like it ended exactly the way that I thought it was going to, but in like a good way, you know? And I don't know what was in this book, but I just loved it. But now I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna be comparing Shield of Sparrows to this book the whole time that I'm reading Shield of Sparrows. So I don't know if I should read them so close together. But I literally don't really have any. I mean, I could go into His Face is the Sun because I said I was going to do that. But I don't think my Libby hold has come in yet for His Face is the Sun. I have to return. Wow, now 6 people are waiting for Silver Elite. Wow, okay. I'm going to return both copies. Because before it said nobody was waiting. And now since the book is getting so much hype, everybody's reading it now. So, yeah. So I returned the Kindle copy and the audiobook, so now people can read it. Yeah, I don't have His Face is the Sun yet, even though it said all of my holds said that they were available soon, like 7 days in June. It says I am second in line for 7 days in June. I'm 5th in line for The Last Devil to Die, and then I'm first in line with His Face is the Sun. So I guess I'm the only person waiting for His Face is the Sun. Okay. I don't know why that book isn't more popular. Like, I'm really excited to read it, but whatever. So, yeah, I'm not really sure because I did already say I was starting to read Shield of Sparrows um on Goodreads. So I think I'm just gonna continue with reading Shield of Sparrows. I don't know if that's a mistake though, but like I just want to keep up this romantasy high though, because like again, that's really all I'm in the mood for right now is like some time of some type of fantasy romantasy type vibes. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. But also like literally the only other thing or the only other book I was kind of thinking that I was gonna be in the mood for is finally reading Firefly Lane. And it's not like that book isn't on my TBR this month either. And I would have quite a lot of time to read the physical book right now because I'm not, I don't have to get ready for the day until like 5 o'clock because I'm seeing my friend for drinks later in my town. So like it's not like I really have to go far. Tomorrow I'm not really sure what my plans are gonna be, and then Tuesday and Wednesday I'm seeing Mission Impossible with my best friend on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I'm seeing Lilo and Stitch with my other friends, and then Thursday and Friday I'm working. So um I have quite a lot of reading time during the day today. My mom doesn't usually get home till 4 o'clock on Sunday. So like I kinda wanna get a significant chunk read of Shield of Sparrows. So I think I'm just gonna continue with my romantasy binge and just read that book because a lot of people are doing that right now. Like I've been seeing at least 3 or 4 people post that as soon as they finish Silver Elite or Shield of Sparrows, they're going right into either one after, depending on which one they read first. So, but I knew I wanted to read this one first because I just devoured it. I probably read like 100 pages of the physical book. So I mostly read it on my Kindle and I listened to a lot of the audiobook yesterday after I made my update. But I had read like 50 pages in this already, and then I had read another like 55 pages on my Kindle. So I had already read like 100 pages yesterday physically and on my Kindle, and then I just listened to the rest of it, getting ready, going back and forth from seeing my friends, and also listening to it when I got home. I didn't get home till like almost 1:45 in the morning. It was so fucking late. But I haven't stayed out that late in a long time. And I still stayed up finishing this damn book. I stayed up till 4 in the morning finishing this book, and I still didn't sleep anyway. And I just had coffee, and it literally did nothing. I feel so exhausted right now, but hopefully I'll sleep better tonight because again, since I'm just going out in my town, I'm only going to be out probably like 2 hours or so. And yeah, that's about it. I don't really have anything else to say. I just loved this. If you're thinking about reading this, I highly suggest that you do. Just form your own opinion, all right? Like, if you love the book, then love the book, you know? You don't have to compare your feelings to somebody else not really loving this book or... Because I've seen 1-star review. I've seen all different kinds of reviews for this book. Did not change my opinion whatsoever. Like I said, from the very first page, I was fucking in love with this book. So, and yes, it is similar to The Hunger Games a little bit, and it is a little similar to Divergent. I've never read Divergent, so I didn't really have much to compare to. I saw the movies a long time ago. I think when they were out in theaters. So I feel like I might do a Divergent read, but that won't be until like probably next year because I read The Hunger Games this year. Let's, do one classic series at a time. But I feel like I would probably want to read the Divergent books and then watch the movies next year. But I don't want to do it this year. Also, I feel like it would then ruin my reading experience of giving this a 5-star. So I feel like I would have to wait quite a while in order to read the Divergent books. And again, I want to work on the rest of my TBR and the series I already own before I would go into any type of new series. Then, so yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go and I will check in when I have an update for you guys of Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. But I am excited to read this, so we'll see what I think. So bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. I wanted to let you guys know that I did start Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. Just reading it on my Kindle because, like I said, it's available on Kindle Unlimited. And I also got the audiobook from the library. I'm on page 119. I'm about 17% of the way through. And so far, I'm really happy that I made this decision to go into this book. It's actually way different from Silver Elite that I don't feel like I'm constantly comparing the two books at all. I'm actually really into this story. I think so far I'm really intrigued on what's going to happen. And so far I'm way more intrigued with this book as I was with The Night and the Moth. I just don't know why I didn't really connect to that book. So far this plot is very intriguing. So the main character is, I believe her name is May. I keep on confusing the two sisters' names. But basically she yeah. So anyway, she basically gets betrothed to someone that she doesn't want to marry. And what happens is that she ends up not marrying this guy and she has to be shipped off to go marry somebody else in another kingdom. And that's basically what's happening right now. That's all I'm going to say. But there's also like a grander scheme that is going on with her family and her father to basically, since she is now going to be going to this other kingdom, basically she's going to be used to infiltrate this kingdom's, you know, like inner workings and like plots for war and stuff like that. Since now they're going to have her on the inside, she basically has to, do everything she can to prevent war coming back to her homeland and stuff like that. So that's basically what's happening. But May has always been like kind of a free spirit and basically the black sheep in her family, where she's always like looked down upon as to like she's never felt as good as her sister at things. And also like her parents didn't choose her to be the sparrow. So basically the sparrow of the family is like the heir to the, I don't really want to explain what the sparrow is because I feel like that's gonna spoil a little bit. Maybe it's in the synopsis because I don't really. I read it, but like there were a bunch of things described in the beginning of the book, but as I was reading it, I do feel like I did understand it. It says the gods sent monsters to the five kingdoms to remind mortals they must kneel. I've spent my life kneeling to their will and to my father's. As a princess, my only duty is to wear the crown and obey the king. I was never meant to rule, never meant to fight, and I was never supposed to be the daughter who sealed an ancient treaty with her own blood. But that changed the fateful day I stepped into my father's throne room. Yes, so the sparrow means that is like a treaty agreement. Like they're the ones that are supposed to be bound to the treaty that they sign. But she didn't know that. She thought it was going to be her sister. So that's basically what's happening right now. Right now she's on the boat on the journey to the kingdom that she's going to be living in now because she's now betrothed to this prince. But I don't know how long this journey is going to take place in the book. I think that's where most people had a little trouble with the pacing. I hope it's not like 100 pages, but also like I'm hoping that we encounter a lot of like monsters in the water and in the ocean. I'm hoping that happens so we have like some action going on. But I'm already feeling like the chemistry between her and the Guardian. I am really liking that. And I'm really liking the flow of the writing of this book. I am very intrigued to see where it goes, but so far I'm having a really good time. Like, I'm not bored at all yet. I do think it started off very strong. So we'll see as it goes on. I also didn't realize that this is probably the longest book that I'm going to read in this video because this book is 650 something pages. Like, I think on Kindle it's 659 pages. But again, I'm already 17% of the way through. So this might take me at least 3 days to finish. I'm glad that I went into it today because I knew I had a lot of reading time before I had to get ready. I'm about to get ready now, though. I can't believe it's almost 5 o'clock already. So I can meet one of my friends. But I'm obviously going to be listening to the audiobook getting ready. That's actually like some of the only time I'm going to be able to listen to it because I'm only going 5 minutes away from my house today. It's not like I'm going a half hour away like I did last night. But yeah, like I said, I think these two books are different enough from each other. Like, if it was like a romantasy book going into another romantasy book, not like because Silver Elite was dystopian romantasy, this is just romantasy with like kings and queens and stuff. And like, I feel like I was like 100% in the mood for that. But I'm already enjoying the writing way more than The Night and the Moth. I feel like this one is going to be rated pretty high. Not where I have like the urge to pick up the physical copy. I feel like I don't need to do that with this one. Even though the physical copy is gorgeous, I didn't feel the strong urge to need to own this book like I did with Silver Elite. With Silver Elite, I felt the strong urge to own the book within like the first chapter. So I'm like, I need this book in my life. I need it on my shelf ASAP. So it's up on my shelf now. But yeah. So let me see where I'm at in the audiobook. And let me set that up. So now I'm on chapter 11. I only read like 3 chapters in bed right now because I'm just so freaking tired. But I did listen to a couple of chapters before that. So I figured I was going to get hopefully maybe around 40% of the way through today. So that would be nice. So we'll see. But so far, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And also, the audiobook narrator of this one was the same narrator that was the voice of the main female character in Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. So I just thought that was interesting. I also really enjoyed the narrator of Silver Elite. So I think both of them are really good narrators. Like, they're not like those type of narrators that like have really deep voices for the men. They just like, make their voices like adjusted a little bit, but they're still like telling a story, It's not like that it sounds like so out of character for them to like, do these crazy voices. I feel like they're just telling the story, which I kind of really enjoy more so with fantasy books as opposed to like romance and thriller. Especially romance books, because I haven't really read any thriller books in a while. I'm having a feeling that I'm probably going to read a couple of thrillers soon in June. I might just have like, because there are like kind of 3 thrillers on my TBR already for June that I would like to read sooner rather than later. But I'm kind of glad I didn't go into any other book because I feel like, again, this is like exactly what I'm in the mood for. And yes, I probably should have went into Firefly Lane. But I'm actually also happy that I went into Shield of Sparrows over His Face is the Sun because my Libby hold for the ebook is not ready yet. Even though I'm first in line, it's still not ready yet. So, like I said, by the time I finish this book, which will hopefully be Tuesday, and I'm actually glad I went into this book before the month is over because we only have 6 days left in the month now. 7 days, including today would be 7 days. So I could finish it before the month is over because, again, His Faces of the Sun, I think, is like 475 pages or something like that. So it's way shorter than this book. even though they're both bricks, this book is long. So, but I do think it's moving pretty quickly. So far, so good. So, yeah, I will check in with you guys probably when I'm like around maybe 60% or something like that. We'll see. So, yeah, bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. I wanted to give you guys an update on where I'm at in Shield of Sparrows. I was about to say Shield and Sparrows, but it's called Shield of Sparrows. And literally, these two books are like the two biggest books on the internet right now on TikTok, which is Silver Elite and Shield of Sparrows. And basically, like, everyone is pretty much reading these two books back to back. Let me just, I think I didn't update my Kindle yet because I just finished another chapter via audio. Yeah, so I'm on chapter 39, page 423, and I'm 64% of the way through. So I got a significant chunk into the book after I checked in yesterday and today. I literally got through almost 300 pages yesterday, and today I got through at least almost 150 pages because I've been listening to it and I've also been reading it. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I really am. I'm not as obsessed with it though as I am or as I was with Silver Elite. And the reason why is because I do think that this book is a bit too unnecessarily long, especially for a first book in a series. It's a little long. With that being said, I do think there's just one or two parts or points in the book where it's dragging a little bit, just because we're kind of getting a lot of insignificant details, but also Daphne Perry's writing is so well written. Like, I'm really enjoying the banter between the two main characters, between the Guardian and Cross. I think it's really funny. And I do think that that's where her writing really shines. But I also really love the descriptions that she gives of like the monsters, and also the action scenes are really well written. Just keeps me turning the pages and I'm ready to see what happens next. And I don't mind like things getting slower and then like, building up the action again. I actually really enjoy that in fantasy books. That's why I read them. And I don't mind the slow burn romance at all between the two main characters. I'm kind of eating it up. I think it's just, they're both so funny. It's because that she's married to King Xavier, but she's, slowly falling for the Guardian. So obviously she can't be with him because she is married to the king. So basically what's happening right now is that she hasn't really uncovered as much. Now I feel like we've gotten more so about what was sent to the castle for, because she's basically her father's spy. And what better spy than, the queen from a foreign land to be married to the king, and you'll be able to infiltrate the palace no matter what. But honestly, like, every time she tries to like do something, it is really funny that the Guardian always catches her, because she's not a spy. She's never been a spy before in her life. But anyway, I'm just feeling some parts, and it's really not that much of the book. I'm talking about like maybe 20 pages where like we're kind of just over describing something that doesn't really matter that much. But her writing is just so well written that it's like I'm still really intrigued to see what happens. I just think for a first book in a series, it's a little bit unnecessarily long. It's like 660 pages. So I don't think I'm going to finish it today. There's no way I'm going to finish it today. I would still have like over 200 pages left today, and I'm about to go out soon. I thought I actually wasn't going to be doing anything today, but turns out, my friend that I usually see every Monday, we're going to go out tonight, and I'm actually getting pretty hungry, so hopefully she gets here soon. She's actually coming to me, and then we're going to Barnes, of course. I'm actually wanting to check whether or not my Barnes has 2 books early that both come out tomorrow, because my Barnes has actually been getting a lot of early releases way sooner than they're supposed to come out. Like I said before, I'll show it to you really quick because this book is just so pretty. I almost thought about including it in this video, but because I'm reading all the May releases or May Romantasy releases in this video, I got Air of Storms super early by Lauren Hamilton Murray, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to this book until literally the 1st of June, and it comes out June 3rd, but hey, at least I'll be able to read it 2 days early because there's literally 2 other May releases that I want to go into after this because I think I'm going to take a break from Romantasy just the last 2 days of May, because usually the last 2 days of the month I like to read like a quick romance or like a thriller or something like that so I can at least finish it before the month is over. So I was going to go into His Face is the Sun after I was done with Shield of Sparrows, but like I said, I'm not going to finish Shield of Sparrows until probably tomorrow night. I have a lot of shit to do during the day tomorrow. I have to take care of my car. I have to call the insurance company again. So I don't know how much reading I'm going to be able to do. I mean, I just have to call them and then I'll be able to read after that. But my mom's going to be home too, and we have to call the insurance company about my rental car because there's some bullshit going on. So, and also, I'm seeing Mission Impossible later with my best friend tomorrow. So we'll see like how much of Shield of Sparrows I can get read. But I'm probably mostly going to be listening to the audiobook a lot, but I'll be able to listen to the audiobook while I'm getting ready and while I'm going back and forth to the movie and back. So I'm hoping to be like maybe 80-90% of the way through by that point, because by tonight I'm hoping to be like maybe 75% of the way through. But honestly, I have a feeling I'm not going to want to stop reading after 70% because everybody says, or everything that I've read online is that people say the last like 30% of this book is where it really picks up, and I'm almost there. I'm 64% of the way through, so I'm almost there. So I'm probably gonna listen to the. Sorry, my stomach is growling, so I'm hungry, but we're really close. So really excited for that, and yeah, I'm gonna. Hey, so hey there, guys. I wanted to let you guys know that I just finished Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I actually finished it this morning. It took me like 2 days and actually I think it only took me 2 days and then this morning to finish it, which I'm actually really surprised. This book is not 660 pages. It's like the same length as Silver Elite actually, because I was looking up like TikToks of like comparisons of like the 2 books because like they're the 2 most popular books on TikTok right now. And there was one book talk that I came across that she said both books are 19 hours long in the audiobook, and I was like, how are they both the same length if this one is like 150 pages longer? And then I'm like, no, it's not 660 pages, because I looked at the physical copy yesterday at Barnes as I picked up the next book we're going to read in this video, and I'm going to talk about it in a minute. They had an early copy. They had 1, and I picked it up. It came out today, but I picked it up yesterday. So anyway, when I was looking at, how many times can I say today, anyway, yesterday? Yeah, so this book is actually a little bit over 500 pages. So it's basically the same length as Silver Elite, but you guys, this was good. It was really good at the end. But I felt like after like the 50% mark, it was kind of dragging quite a bit for me. And then literally, even though people said that it doesn't pick up until like 70% on, I felt like even like there was one twist that I didn't see coming, and I was like, oh shit. But then after that, from like 75% to like almost 90%, there was like a good 15% of like such buildup on what was happening and what was going on and who did what and all of that. And I just felt like it was so much buildup of chapter after chapter after chapter where I'm like, we could have summed this up in probably 2 to 3 chapters. Because it's like, they'll still like, she'll still explain what needs explaining, but I felt like it just took too long to get there. I'm like, okay, can we stop repeating like the same thing? Like there were some things that were repeated like a little bit too much for me that it kind of annoyed me. Because it's like, again, we kind of already figured out what what why can't I remember his name? Ransom knew already. The Guardian, whatever. Little spoiler, sorry, but his name is the Guardian. Forget that I said Ransom. But anyway, we like knew a lot about what he actually knew at this point. I felt like we should have concentrated a little bit more, like I said, about like what what Odessa, that's her name, Odessa, was finding out. And I felt like the last 20% kind of got a little bit messy. So it's like, oh my God, this person did this, and this person did this, and what happened with them. And it's just like a little bit too many things going on. It wasn't like confusing in any way. It was just like, oh, okay, this, okay, this, okay, this. And like, I'm not the person that doesn't love a good twist or like twist after twist after twist at the end. But sometimes it can get to be a little bit too much that it's like, I honestly didn't really care at that point when it was like too over explained. Like, I want to compare it to like Fearless because I kind of felt like that's how I felt about Fearless towards the end, but also like I felt like Fearless was better paced throughout the whole book. Honestly, I felt way more intrigued and entertained to get to the end of that and find out how the hell, you know, things were going to wrap up in it. There is one thing in it though that like what brought it down from a 5-star for me, because literally the first 50% of that book, it was going to be a 5-star for me. But then like something happens in the middle, and then like around 70% in, that made me drop it half a star. But I still really liked that book compared to this one. I mean, this one had its moments. This was very good. I still really enjoyed it. But I feel the same as how I did when I watched this TikToker's video comparing the two books, Silver Elite and Shield of Sparrows. I feel that this suffered from a massive pacing issue. Like, it was just dragging in the middle, and like, I was still intrigued enough to get back to like the plot and the story. It's just like, I felt like we were spending too long on things that didn't really matter. And it's like, we don't need to draw out that she needs to brush her hair like 5 million times. We don't need to draw out that she changed her clothes into like comfortable clothing. Like, we don't need every single detail of that. And it's like, it wasn't like too over explained, but it was like, it was getting a little bit boring. Because it's like, we know like we know like what's going on with her at this point, but at the same time, I did really like her as a main character. I really did. I thought she was great. I thought she was very relatable, but also, and she wasn't stupid. She was not a stupid female protagonist. Again, thank God. But I do see the similarities now between Silver Elite and Shield of Sparrows when it comes to the main character. Because, like I said, everybody was talking about that these books blew up at the same time. They both came out on the same day. They're both the same length. And both the main characters' names are Cross. I mean, in Silver Elite, it's the male main character that's named Cross. In Shield of Sparrows, it's the female main character, which is the main character of the book. Like, the female main character in Silver Elite has a different name, and her name is leaving me right now. But that doesn't mean I didn't love that book. But anyway, the similarities between the two main characters is that they lie a lot. And the thing that, like, bothered me, though, I guess, like, that's why she was stressing this throughout the whole book, was the fact that even though she did end up falling in love with the Guardian, because we all knew she was going to fall in love with him anyway, that's not a spoiler at all, we all knew she was going to end up with him, is that the Guardian kept on saying that, like, or she kept on saying to the Guardian, like, you still don't trust me, like, even though they ended up falling in love, you know, effing, and then her, like, telling him things that he already figured out. He already knew all of this, like, way before, and that was another twist. That twist was actually really good, and I didn't even see that one coming. But some of the other ones got a little predictable for me. I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, a lot more of these characters are more involved than they say that they are, but there wasn't, like, too many characters to follow, which I did appreciate as well. There's probably only, like, 6 or 7 characters that you wanted to find out more and more about, and then towards the end, there was another character reveal about, like, that she adds more to the story that I thought, that she originally sent her away, like, earlier in the book, because she did something fucked up then, too. And then she had a lot more to her that, like, kind of, like, dumbfounded me at the end. I was like, wow, I did not see that coming either. I'm like, she a bee. And then there were kind of, like, a couple deaths at the end that were really sad, actually. I didn't cry, but there were, like, 2 deaths at the end that I didn't see coming either. I kind of saw one of them coming, but the other one was actually really devastating. And I was like, that really sucks, because they didn't deserve that. But anyway, overall, it was still really good. I'm giving it... I think I'm just going to give it a 4-star, because I don't feel like rounding it up, but I also think 3.75 is too low for this book. So I'm going to give it a 4 stars. That still means I really did enjoy it. I really liked the magic system. I really liked the concept. And I think there's a lot more to Odessa that we are going to find out in the second book. Like, it still intrigues me to pick up the second book. I'm actually very excited for when we're able to get that. But it didn't have me in a chokehold like Silver Elite, okay? So, did I take a picture of this? I think I did. Yes, I did. Okay. So, enough about that. Done with Shield of Sparrows. I can't believe I finished it this morning. I thought I was going to finish it, like, this afternoon. But I couldn't sleep last night, of course. So I read, like, maybe, like, almost 40 pages of it on my Kindle. And then I just listened to the rest of it because I was getting a little bit annoyed with reading it. So sometimes if I switch to the audio, especially, like, usually I get the audiobook if it's, like, honestly, like, any book I'm reading at this point. But I usually really love getting the audiobook of, like, fantasy books, because it's like, if it's a fantasy book that I'm obsessed with, I don't want to stop reading it. So, like, I'll get the audiobook and listen to it, like, when I'm doing anything, when I'm not, like, holding the book and reading. Like, if I'm driving, if I'm cleaning, if I'm doing laundry, if I'm getting ready for bed, anything like that, I will put the audiobook on. Okay, so hey there, guys. So we are going to end the vlog here because, as you guys know, I never shut up. So this is going to be the end of part 1. I might just make this new fantasy releases, because I could read a 3rd book in the video, because I do have a new fantasy release that came out in June, but the point was to read all these May new releases. But also, I didn't read His Face is the Sun until, like, my 4th book in June. I didn't have time to read it in May, so, because again, there was like 10 million May releases that I wanted to read, including that one, but I ended up just pushing it to June. So I'm going to end this vlog here because it ended up being like over 2 hours long if I kept all 5 books in one video. So, like I said, I never shut up, but at least we had 1 5-star read in this video, so, which was Silver Elite. It's still my favorite book that I read in this vlog. So yeah, please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at cbw819, and check out my Goodreads and my TikTok in the description box below. You can follow me on both platforms, because I post all my reviews on my books on Goodreads, and I've been posting a lot more on TikTok, so it's been actually really fun posting on Book Talk. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys have read either of these. At least I read Silver Elite and Shield of Sparrows in this video. I could have also read Direbound, but that was my May book club pick. That book club is not even, like, happening this month, so me and Felicia have just been buddy reading a lot together we haven't picked that book club back up in a while because the other girls just got like too busy. So, yeah, that's it for now. And I will see you guys in part 2. So, I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to read a third book in it. I mean, I already started it. It's A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. Like I said, I could just say reading new fantasy releases rather than May releases. So I don't know. I might just do that, but it would just be easier. Or I'll just say it in the intro in part 2. So yeah, that's it. Bye.